Okay, it's time to be honest with you guys. After 3 years of posting on BookTok, I think I might have become part of the problem. We have created an echo chamber where the same books are being recommended to you over and over. Nobody actually reads reviews anymore. Reading is now a competitive sport. Authors are writing books based on TikTok trends. And quite frankly, we need to talk about it. It's time for some real talk on what BookTok has become, in my opinion. And I'm really nervous to post this. Hi guys, my name is Michaela. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I'm usually talking to you about thriller books and adding loads of books to your TBR, but today's video is a little bit different. After 3 years of being a BookTok content creator, I want to sit down and have an honest conversation with you about patterns that I am seeing time and time again on BookTok and patterns that I have unintentionally been contributing to. I started my TikTok account 3 years ago because I genuinely had no friends in real life that were reading books. I had nobody to speak to about all of the books I was reading. And in making my BookTok account, I have gained the most incredible community, the most amazing friends, and it has added so much positivity to my life. But with that, there's also been some negative things that I have noticed surrounding how we now approach books. So this video is about me taking accountability, talking about some things we need to address, and don't get it twisted. I still love BookTok, I still post on there, but I think we can do better. Let's get into it. Okay, if you open TikTok right now and you search thriller book recommendations, I can guarantee the first 3 books you are going to see recommended to you time and time again are The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Over and over and over again. I could probably script these videos in my sleep. And look, some of those are good books. Verity by Colleen Hoover, The Silent Patient, 2 of my favourite thriller books. Did you notice the one that I left out? Why are we only talking about these books? Thousands and thousands of books are published every single day. Indie authors are publishing new books every day. Diverse authors are publishing new books every single day. But we're stuck in some form of BookTok Groundhog Day, where the same books are being recommended to you over and over again. And like I said, I am here to take accountability. I have made these book reviews. I have posted about The Silent Patient. I have spoken about Verity, not because just the algorithm loves them, but because I genuinely do believe they are good books. But there are so many other better books out there. When I post a popular book on BookTok, the algorithm loves it. It will automatically do well because that's a relatable book. People know that book cover. But when I post about a book that nobody's ever heard of or an indie author, it gets little to no engagement. Crickets, if you will. So what is the incentive for creators to talk about new books? There isn't. We're all trapped in this cycle of recommending what is popular. And you know what happens? Books that are out there that might be perfect for you are getting lost. They are getting buried beneath the 47th review video of The Housemaid that I've seen today. We have unintentionally created this echo chamber where the popular books are getting more popular and everything else is just disappearing into the void. The void of BookTok. Okay, my next point is something I am so guilty of because I joke all the time that I read for sport, but it's not a joke. Reading has now become a competitive sport. And I am so guilty of this. I come on here every single month and tell you how many books I've read, sometimes more than 10 in a month, which is insane numbers. Last month I hit 8 and I was like, oh, that's the least amount of books I've read this year. I read 8 books in a month. That is absolutely incredible. But when did reading become about the numbers and not the experience? I see people setting reading goals of more than 200 books a year. Then at the same time, I see comments of people like, oh, I've only read 30 books this year. Why can't I read faster? I read so slow. What is wrong with me? There is nothing wrong with you. The number of books that you've read, whether it's 1 or 1,000, you should not be made to feel inadequate just because you haven't read as much as the next person. And seeing as though this video is about accountability, I have picked books to read because they are on the shorter length. I have not read a 600-page book because it means that I wouldn't read as many books that month. And that's insane. Some people do read that fast. Some people can take in the information that quickly. And if you are that kind of reader, that is absolutely okay. But if you're reading for the numbers and you're feeling stressed about your Goodreads reading goal, that's not healthy. It's not. And I'm speaking to myself at the same time as I'm speaking to you. That is not healthy, and that is not the reason that I personally fell in love with reading. It's a made-up stat. Is literally a made-up stat. Set your reading goal to 5 and celebrate when you hit those 5 books. And social media has made this so much worse. This is not a competition. There is no prize for reading the most books out of everyone. Read that 800-page epic fantasy book, even if it will take you a month. Reread your favourite book, even if it doesn't count as reading a brand new book. But who even made that rule? Of course it counts. Take breaks to think about what you've just read. Immerse yourself in that story. Think about that plot twist that you just read. Reading should make you feel full, not inadequate. And if you've only read 20 books this year, but you absolutely adored every single one of those books, that to me is more validating than having read 200 books and not really able to remember anything about them. Now let's talk about something that's really been bothering me. Nobody cares about book reviews anymore. Everything is a soundbite. Everything is, oh my God, this book was 5 stars. Oh my God, that twist was incredible. The heartbreak. But why? Why was it incredible? Why did it make you feel like that? What about the character arc? Tell me about the prose. We've trained our attention spans to be so short that nobody actually cares about a detailed book review anymore, which when you think about it, you have to have a good attention span to be reading a 300+ page book. So why the hell can't we watch a book review that's longer than 30 seconds? We just want that quick dopamine hit of this book was 5 stars. Oh my God, go read it. And that's it. And I have done this too. I have made these reviews. I still make these videos on TikTok because that's what the algorithm wants. I got to the point where I started to feel really hollow and I thought, am I actually adding anything by making these kind of videos? And that leads me to why I decided to start making my YouTube. I felt this pressure to condense everything into a 60-second video, and that's not realistically possible. I want to give you actual reviews. I want to talk to you in depth about why I loved a book, whether that twist actually made sense or not, whether you need to suspend your disbelief. YouTube feels like a safe space where people are actually here because they want long form content. You have clicked on this video knowing that it's a longer video and you want to spend this time with me. And hopefully I can help you make informed decisions on the books that you're reading and give you actual nuanced reviews. But here's what happens with the TikTok approach. When everything is incredible and when everything is 5 stars, nothing actually is. We're not helping people find books they will actually connect with. We're just creating FOMO, and those people are picking up those books because everybody else is and they feel like they're missing out. We need to bring back nuance. We need to bring back actual reviews. We need to be okay with saying that I love this book for XYZ, but if you might not like this if you don't like XYZ. That's not being negative, that's being helpful. And I say it all the time, the reason that I don't like a book could be the reason that you love it. Negative book reviews are just as important as, oh my God, this was 5 stars. That's being helpful. And that's what I'm trying to do more of here. Okay, we need to talk about Freida McFadden. And I'm really nervous about this because people have feelings on Freida McFadden. Little bit of a disclaimer. I am not in any way, shape or form hating on Freida McFadden. What she has accomplished as an author from a business's perspective is genuinely impressive. But we need to talk about how she is everywhere. At one point, she had 7 books in the bestseller list at the same time. You cannot go on BookTok and search thriller books without coming across a Freida McFadden video. She is everywhere. She is dominating the thriller space. Freida McFadden is a self-published author who is also actually a doctor and was writing books on the side, and she made it. She is proof to all indie authors out there that you can be successful on your own. She did all of this without a publisher. But we need to also have an honest conversation about how people are treating her books, because it doesn't seem like you can say anything about her books without people jumping down your throat and claiming like they're the best things that have ever been written. And they're not. Her books are fun, quick, popcorn thrillers that you can read very easily, no thoughts, head empty, and you know you are going to have a fun time. But they frequently make no sense. You guys are always in my comments being like, oh, shock, the twist in that one didn't make sense. You finish the book and you're like, wait, that couldn't have happened because that contradicts what happened in chapter 3. That person couldn't have done it because they were in a different place when that happened. But because they're a fun time, we just accept it. And let me be clear, that is okay. Not every book has to be a literary masterpiece. Sometimes you're there just for a fun time, and that's okay. But we should be able to say that about Freida McFadden, about any author, without the fear of being attacked. And I'm going to tread very carefully here because I'm not out here trying to get sued, but there has been a lot of interesting conversation about the similarities between Freida McFadden's work and also other popular authors. Like I said, these are just accusations. I have no proof of anything, but readers should be aware that these conversations are taking place. I have seen people getting attacked for giving a Freida McFadden book 3 stars. Attacked. That is not okay. Not with Freida McFadden, not with any author. We are allowed to share our own personal opinions on the internet and not have fear that we're going to get attacked or judged for saying that about a book. BookTok has decided that Freida McFadden is the only thriller author to exist. We need to break out of this cycle where one author is just dominating the space, that all the other authors just don't get a look in. There's room for all of these authors. We don't have to pick one. I have seen conversations happening around, not necessarily in thriller books, I want to say it's like more in the romance genre, but where authors are writing books specifically with tropes that they know will help them go viral on TikTok. And I get it. If you're an author and you see that spicy mafia romance is trending on TikTok, you're gonna write a book to hit that because you want your book to be successful. But here's the thing, I think that you can feel when a book was written authentically versus if a book was written for just to chase a trend. And the thing is, these books often do very well initially, but they're never going to be literary masterpieces. In 6 months' time, they're going to be completely forgotten about. So I kind of think it's like a catch-22. What would you prefer? And I have spoken to authors who have said that they feel the pressure to write certain stories, hitting certain tropes that they know that readers want to see, but it's not necessarily the story they want to tell. But here's the complicated part, because TikTok trends have been amazing for indie authors. So many authors out there have had their lives changed because of BookTok. Authors who were previously selling small numbers are now selling 6 figures. They have 6-figure book deals. They are being sold in all traditional bookstores, all because BookTok found them. BookTok has also got so many people back into reading. People that hadn't read in years are suddenly reading 50 plus books a year. People who never thought they would pick up a book again. BookTok has made them do it. And they are some of the success stories that we should absolutely be celebrating. Okay, I've been a little bit critical of BookTok so far, but I do just want to speak about some of the positives that it has brought me. Because honestly, BookTok changed my life. And that's not even being dramatic. I started that account because I had nobody to speak to about all the books I was reading. I have been a reader my whole life, and my friends and family, they just didn't get it. And then I posted my first video, and suddenly I had hundreds of people to speak with, over 40,000 people to speak with about books. Like, that still blows my mind. The friends I've made through BookTok are now some of my closest friends, some of my best friends in real life, people who came to my wedding, people who I speak to every day, people that I would have never met if it wasn't for this community. And honestly, I wouldn't be sat on YouTube now if I hadn't started my TikTok. My TikTok is what gave me the confidence to be sat here and start a YouTube channel earlier this year. It made me realize that people actually cared about what I had to say. People wanted to hear my book reviews, and that's when I thought to myself, maybe I can do it a bit in depth. And I don't know. I feel like it's going all right. I've had people message me and say, I haven't read a book since high school and your video made me pick up a book. Your videos have really helped me through some dark times in my life and it led me to books, which has really helped me. And I can't explain how much joy that brings me, like in being able to say that people have messaged me saying those things. And I'm so grateful to be even a teeny tiny part of that. And I love BookTok, I really do, but I feel like something needs to change. We can still keep the amazing parts of BookTok. We can still keep the community, the friendship, the people, but we can also recognize the problematic patterns that have developed. Okay, so I've complained a lot in this video. But what can we actually do? What can we put in place to try and make it a better place? And this is what I am personally going to do to try and be better. I am going to make sure that I'm going to recommend underrated books. Even if they don't get me the views, who cares? I'm going to highlight underrated authors, books that aren't spoken about, because you deserve to know about those books. I'm not going to care if my video is over 60 seconds long. I'm not going to care about if I post a video that's over 3 minutes long and the engagement is terrible, because I've said what I wanted to say and maybe it's helped at least one person. I'm going to be more mindful in how I speak about my reading stats, and I'm going to stop reading for sport, although you can guarantee I will still joke about it. And just like in my October reading wrap up, I am going to celebrate quality, not quantity. I'm going to stop participating in the pile-ons. You don't need to see 500 videos of people saying the same thing about how this book is incredible. I'm going to talk about the books that I want to talk about. Some things that I think you can do. You can also stop reading for sport. Your Goodreads reading goal does not define you. Even if you read 20 books a year, you are still worthy just as much as somebody that reads 200. Trust your taste. Don't trust the hype. Just because everybody else loves a book doesn't mean that you will. Follow creators who specifically want to talk about underrated books. Like me, hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Look beyond the first page of results. The algorithm is always going to show you the most popular books first. Just scroll a bit further down and you may find some underrated books that you might not have heard of. Read reviews and don't just listen to ratings. And that is exactly what I'm trying to create here on my YouTube, a space where we can have nuanced conversations, a place where I can tell you exactly why I loved a book and also why I hated a book. On TikTok, I would just show the book and flash a rating and move on. Here, I can go into depth, and that's what I love so much about BookTube. And look, I'm not going to be perfect. I probably am still going to fall into these traps. I'm still going to probably fall into the hype, but I can recognize it at this point and still make active goals to change my behavior. I love reading. I love this community, and I want to make it be better, not just more popular. And that's why you're here too, because you clicked on a however long this video is video, because I'm sure that you want depth. I'm sure you want the actual reviews too. Okay, friends, I need to take a breath because that was a lot. And I am actually so nervous to post this. I'm not trying to tear anybody down. I don't think I'm the book police. I just want to talk about some things that I have observed as a book content creator. And I also just want to say that this isn't me saying that TikTok is bad and YouTube is good. Both platforms serve their purpose. TikTok is great for those quick reviews, but then if you want the more nuanced stuff, maybe come over to YouTube and check the more detailed reviews. But I will be posting my detailed reviews over on TikTok. I don't care about those views anymore. And we can love both. That's not a crime. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything that I've said. If you have ever felt the pressure of anything that I've spoke about in this video. I genuinely want to have this conversation. That's what these videos are about. So let's talk about it. If you've made it this far into the video, I would love it so much if you could hit the subscribe button. This isn't my usual content, but speaking about things like this really is my passion, as are book reviews. So I would love it so much if you could hit the subscribe button and stick around. Happy reading, book friends. Trust your taste. Don't follow the crowd and stop reading for sport. I'll see you in the next one.